You're not living up to your potential. I'm not saying you're wrong, but you ain't right. The Wright Report. Edutainment for the community. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us for this installment of the Wright Report, Edutainment for the Community. As we promised you, we would have guests here that would enlighten you, inform you, empower, and encourage you. And we have none other than the best person for that, the future mayor of the city of Buffalo, India Walton. She took some time to sit out with us a couple of weeks just before the end of the campaign. So this is how much she values the people in the community, because although Wright Report is a new kid on the block, we're not the biggest kid on the block, and she's sitting down with us to give you an exclusive, to debunk some of those myths that you've heard, and to hear from her mouth exactly what the Walton administration will look like and what they will do. But before we start, in fairness and in full transparency, which is the hallmark of Ms. Walton's campaign, I want you to know that I know India for maybe 10 years now. We've worked together on several criminal justice initiatives. I consider her a friend, and I am supporting her. So I don't want you to think this is a fluff interview. I am in support of her, and I support her because I know who she is. I've known her more than being a nurse, more than being an activist, but being a good person who cares about people. And what we need now is somebody who cares about us. And so that's why I'm voting for her policies, her policy and agenda. We all won't agree on everything, but we can agree to disagree on some things. But what's most important, I know that what she'll be doing will be coming from her heart and not from somebody's pocket. And that's important to me and my community. So without further ado, the person you want to hear from, not me, Mayoral India Walton. How are you today?
I am well. Good afternoon. Thank you for coming.
No, thank you so much. I know it's been a long day, and I don't want to be long before you, but I do have some questions. The community's been inundated with a lot of lies and falsehoods, and I just want you to be able to take an opportunity to clear up some of the things. First of all, a lot of people, especially in our community, not understand the whole idea of being a democratic socialist and what that means and why that's what you've chosen for your platform. Can you please just tell the people what that means to you?
Yeah, I think for most folks, what they most associate democratic socialism with is the Bernie Sanders campaign, right? And when we look at what my priorities are for this community, anti-poverty, affordable housing, clean air, water, a quality education for our children, being a strong advocate to improve the health of our community. That is what democratic socialism is to me. It's making sure that people are the core of our policies and our priority, right? That we are not beholden to large real estate developers and corporations and wealthy people who control everything, but that we're drawing power and resources down into the hands of the people who need it the most, and that's working class people.
Thank you. So, when people hear that, they're gonna say, well, you're talking about defunding the police, and we know that has never come out of your mouth. You have a different approach on what you plan to do. Can you tell the people what you would like to do?
I can. It's interesting because today's newspaper actually quoted some things that I said a couple of summers ago, and the language of a protester, the language of an activist is much different than the language of a mayor. Right? And I will say that I've said some things in the past, being impassioned, being frustrated, really wanting change and not seeing that happen. But governing is different, and I've grown a lot. So I have not campaigned on defunding the police. What I want to do is refund our community and fully fund the services that are going to reduce crime and free police to do actual police work, right? Why are police officers being called to mental health calls? If a situation is dangerous or violent, that's one thing. But if a person is decompensating and having a tough time, They don't want to talk to a police officer. They want to talk to a counselor or a friend or someone who's going to be empathetic and understanding, right? We don't need police responding to calls for homeless people or, low-level offenses. I know you're very familiar with the LEAD program and ways that we begin to decarcerate our system and stop punishing people for being poor.
Right. No, thank you. I know where you're coming from. I just want people to know and hear it from you, because I can say it, but nobody can represent you better than you represent yourself.
Right. I'm not firing any police officers.
Thank you.
That's nowhere in the plan. That's a blatant lie.
Okay. So let's talk about crime. I will say you're one of the only elected I've ever heard talk about the crime generative factors. People think crime happens in a void, or like people are born inherently criminal.
Right.
You know that that's not a fact. I know that's not a fact. I've been involved in crime before, and it is usually a result of other things, and you've talked about them. Poverty, education, racism. When it comes to crime, what is your ideology? What is it you think is going to work to change crime in this community?
My belief is that in order to reduce crime, we have to address the root causes, right? No one is born a thief, but people are forced to steal when their basic needs aren't met. I just so happen to believe in God, and I also believe that people are inherently good, that people deserve forgiveness and restoration, but we have to set them up for success. Right? You can't tell a person who's hungry that they cannot have food and then punish them when they go get food, right? When you provide folks with good living wage jobs, with affordable housing, with a clean and beautiful environment, there's a different sense of pride and hope. And that's what our administration is going to do. We're going to reduce crime by reducing poverty and creating opportunities for every person in this community to thrive, finally.
Okay, I'm feeling that, and I'm sure you're talking about adding money to education. This community gets like almost $1 billion a year for education, and we're still lagging far behind. Giving more money doesn't seem like the answer. What you're going to do with the money? What's your ask for the money for?
Yep. It all ties back to poverty, right? And throwing more money at a problem doesn't solve it, right? That's why we have more money in our police budget and more murders, right? We have more money in our school budget
and less education.
And less education, right? And I believe that the graduation rate increasing is great, but what we're hearing from the business community is that our students are not coming out prepared to work. I'm hearing from union leaders that they can't give our students apprenticeships because they can't read tape measures, right? So it's about providing those wraparound services and supports that not only serve our students, but serve their families as well, right? Making sure that parents are able to find decent employment, making sure that we expand childcare options for younger siblings, just making sure that we're creating opportunities for folks to live quality lives. I mean, as a school nurse, I wasn't doing a lot of Band-Aids and
do a surgery
and things like that. Children were coming to the nurse. They were coming to me, Miss, can you give me a few extra granola bars to take home for my little brother or sister? Or, they had seen a family member be killed, or we got a lot of issues to solve, right? It's not the fault of one person. It's not the fault of one system. This is an intersectional issue, and we have to address all of the things in order to make the impact that we really need in this community. And education is not excluded from that.
So clearly the money is not in addition to what they're already getting. It is in addition to help wraparound services so that families, as a holistic approach,
Yes.
get the help they need, so that the education money that we're giving them gets the bang for the buck.
That's right.
That's it. So it's because that's what I'm saying. People are saying one thing, you're talking about giving more money and we're not having success, but you're explaining now why that money is there. That money is to cure some of the ancillary problems that attend to a person not getting the type of education that they need.
Absolutely.
That's what it's all. Governing. Never governed before, right? Never been the mayor before.
Never been the mayor before.
Never been the mayor before. But you've governed.
I've governed. I've co-governed, right? I've co-governed as executive director of the Fruit Belt Community Land Trust. I have co-governed as a member of broad coalitions of people to advance legislation in the city, in the state of New York. And not only that, but I am supported by a lot of very intelligent, highly skilled, and experienced subject matter experts who are like the majority of us want to make Buffalo better. And anyone who wants to make Buffalo better is welcome to be a part of the administration as an advisor. I'm a person who is going to listen to wise advice. I always do. So I don't think that inexperience is a thing, right? It's trying to be made into a thing, but I can tell you what experience I do have. I have experience being poor. I have experience working hard and getting nowhere. I have experience raising 4 little brown boys in the city of Buffalo, and if I'm not afraid that one of their peers is gonna gun them down, I'm afraid that maybe the police is gonna do something to them, right? I have all of those experiences. I have the experience of everyday people, working class people right here in Buffalo. That is the experience that is going to make me into a great leader, a great mayor, because I know what the people want because I'm right there with them.
Well, we know what the people want. They want you because that's why you won the Democratic primary, right? That's all we gotta say. So I don't want to be long, but I do know something's happening on Tuesday.
Yes.
Life Camp is coming.
Yes.
That sounds great, but this is October. Life Camp in October in Buffalo. That don't sound like being outside. So could you please enlighten us? What is Life Camp?
Life Camp is a wonderful violence interruption program founded by a woman named Erica Ford. They've been in existence about 30 years, but they have successfully reduced gun violence by 15% in high impact neighborhoods in New York City, specifically Queens. So the folks from Life Camp are going to come down. They're going to bring their peace bus. I'm so excited for you to see this, Jerome, because I went down there, they gave me a sound bath, essential oils. Look.
You said a sound bath?
A sound bath.
Woo,
They have these little first aid kits. So Life Camp is about not only responding when violence occurs, but teaching people what it means to live a peaceful a peaceful lifestyle. What you put in your body, how you take care of your mind and your mental health. They have a recording studio on the bus so that when young people are feeling frustrated, they can spit their frustrations into the microphone.
Instead of spitting them on the street or hurting somebody else.
Right, so they have these little kits with lavender, essential oils, just
so
things.
I'm gonna get that?
I don't know if you this was special. This was special for me. Okay. But this is the type of investment that these folks are making in their community in Queens. So when I say that I want our anti-violence programs to be evidence-based, data-driven, I'm bringing Life Camp on Tuesday, not as a campaign event, right? I've invited the nonprofits. I've invited the current anti-violence programs because I want folks to see for themselves why I'm saying I believe this is going to be something that's going to be helpful here in Buffalo.
Right. Okay, great. I cannot wait. So that'll be, give the people the information so they'll know.
We will be there Tuesday from 11 to 2 there at Elam Christian Fellowship.
70 Chalmers
Avenue. Right out in the parking lot. It is October, so dress in layers and be warm, but I am so excited for people to get the opportunity to experience what Life Camp has to offer and the training that will potentially be available to local folks who are already doing the work, and that additional training is going to help them be even more effective at it.
Okay, so the Life Camp Tuesday,
from 11
Elam
to 2.
parking lot from 11 to 2. Come out, everybody. Bunch of people been invited. Politicians, police. Everyone's welcome, and just about everybody's been invited. That's what I'm talking about. Inclusion, holistic approach. That's what this city needs. That's what we all need. Personally, that's what Life Camp is going to teach us. But this city needs that, a holistic approach where we care about our whole body, mind, body, and spirit. Thank you. We look forward to your leadership. It's always a pleasure.
Yes, pleasure's mine.
Thank you.